Students, in this revision video of circles, I'll be taking you through some important concepts that you need to remember from 10.1. So let us begin with a revision class, exercise 10.1. Now, this is briefing you up with the mathematics portion for the first periodic exam. You have polynomials, which is the second chapter, coordinate geometry, which is chapter number 3, and circles. Now from circles, you will get questions from exercise 10.1 and 10.5. Similar type of questions could come in the paper. 10.2, 10.3, 10.4 is not there for this periodic exam. So with this, we begin revision on circles. Another important thing, students, you will also not have any theorems or proofs to write in your first periodic test. So on this note, I will start revising exercise 10.1 and certain things, certain concepts that you need to understand in order to solve exercise 10.1. Let us have a look. Now you have to understand the following parts of a circle. If you look at exercise 10.1, you have questions as fill in the blanks and true or false in this exercise. So for that, you need to understand these terms. These are the various parts of a circle. Now let us have a quick recap of these parts of a circle. First and foremost, what is a circle? A circle is a set of points in a plane, and all these points in a plane, they are equidistant from a fixed point. And this fixed point out here is called as the center of the circle. Now, if you look at the first circle and then the second circle and then the third circle, you will notice these circles are concentric. The center remains the same. As and when they move away, their radius increases. Okay, so a circle is a set of points in a plane whose distance from a fixed point remains constant. Now look at this diagram. We have a circle with some points inside the circle, some points on the circle, and this point outside the circle. So this statement is very important. A circle divides the plane on which it lies into three parts. So those three parts are point O and D lying inside the circle. So they are called the points in the interior of the circle. Then this point B and C, it is lying on the circle. And you have point A, which is outside the circle. So A is in the exterior of the circle. You could get a question like this. A circle divides the plane on which it lies into how many parts? So the answer is 3. Inside the circle, outside the circle, and on the circle. Now, remember this. The length of the complete circle is called its circumference. The diagram that you see out here is the circumference of a circle. The circumference of the circle is not the same as diameter of the circle. Example, you take a thread, okay, and make it into a circle. And when I cut the thread and I open it up, I get the length of the circle. So every circle has length. The length of the circle is called as circumference. That is, if I cut this portion and I open up this circle, I will get the length of the circle. So you don't have to learn the definitions, but you have to remember this, you have to understand it, because they could come as MCQ or fill in the blanks. Now the next. These are recalling some important definitions of parts of a circle. What is the meaning of chord of a circle? Let's revise. Now in this diagram, you see that AB is a line segment which is drawn from one point A to another point B. So a chord is a line segment joining any 2 points on a circle. Likewise, this line segment in red, this is also the chord of the circle. Look at this globe. These are the lines of the latitude. These lines of latitude are the lines which are drawn from one point to another. So they are all chords of the circle. The diameter is the longest chord of the circle. Again, this is another important point that you need to remember. And in a circle, you have infinite equal chords. So you could have so many line segments passing through the center. So that is why we have infinite equal chords. Now this is a secant. You should know how to identify a chord and how to identify a secant. Now what is the difference between a chord and a secant? A secant is a line and a chord is a line segment. Now look at the secant. Again, the secant passes through this point and this. Secant line L passes through this one point and another. So a secant is an extension of a chord. It is a line joining any 2 points on a circle. For solving questions from 10.1, you need to know these terminologies. What is a chord? What is a secant? You don't have to learn them. You don't have to memorize them. Understand it, that a secant is a line and a chord is a line segment in this case. Now, what is the meaning of arc of a circle? You have the major arc and you have the minor arc. A piece of a circle between 2 points is called an arc. You could get an MCQ question like this. A piece of a circle between 2 points is dash, and they could give you options. So you should know which is the correct answer. It's like this. You break a bangle, a glass bangle, and you get these small, small pieces. It's nothing but it's in the form of an arc. So that is how you define an arc. So you have the major arc and you have the minor arc. If you look at this, the major arc is bigger than the minor arc. Now, segment of a circle. This is very, very important. What do you mean by segment of a circle? In this circular region, Mn is the chord. It is the chord of the circle that divides the circle into segments. Here, segment doesn't mean a line segment. It means a region. So this region in green is the minor segment, and this region in mustard is the major segment, because the chord divides the circle into segments. So this is very, very important. The region between a chord and either you take this arc or you take this arc, either of the arc, this region is called as the segment. So how do you identify a segment? Look for a chord and look for the arc. So a region like this will be called the segment of a circle. So bigger segment is major segment, smaller one is minor segment. Now, sector. How do you define a sector of a circle? The region between the arc and the two radii. So you have radius OP and radius OR, and then you have this arc PQR. So this entire region is called as the sector. This is the minor sector in green, and the one in pink is the major sector. It looks like these slices of pizza, or if you cut a cake, triangular shape, what you get is a sector. So I hope the difference between a segment of a circle and sector of a circle is clear. Remember the following. You should know how to identify it. Okay. First, what is a chord of a circle? It's a line segment joining any 2 points on a circle. Secant, it's a line joining any 2 points on a circle. This is line segment and this is line. And you know that the circle divides the plane into 3 parts. What is an arc of a circle? The definition is given out here. Circumference is the length of the complete circle. It is not the same as diameter. Segment of a circle is the region. This word region is very important. It is a region between chord and either of its arc. Okay. And sector of a circle is the region between an arc and the two radii of the circle. So these are some of the important terminologies or important components of a circle which you need to remember. Definitions will not be asked in the paper, but you have to remember this and understand these concepts. Only then you will be able to solve objective questions from 10.1. Now, these are some of the MCQs that you could expect in the paper. These are the similar type of problems from exercise 10.1. Now, this region in orange, what is it called? So look for it. This whole thing is a region. Is it a sector or is it a segment? It is a segment. A circle has dash number of equal chords. I just uh, said this some time back. A circle has infinite number of equal chords. The region between a chord and either of its arc. A chord and either of its arc is, it's a segment. Okay. Then, so see how I've rephrased this. This I've put it in this manner and this I've put it in a different way. The answer for both is segment. Now in the adjoining figure, which of the following is a secant if O is the center of the circle? So you can't have OB because OB is a radius, OC is a radius. So secant has to be line L. So the answer is line L. So these are some of the MCQs that you could get in the paper because these are all based on their definitions. Now, the center of the circle lies in the dash of the circle. It lies definitely in the interior. Which of the following is a minor arc? See, this arc is minor. ABC is a minor arc and AGC is a major arc. So it is arc ABC. You could even write it as CBA. In the adjoining figure, which represents a sector? This is definitely not a sector because it's a segment of a circle. Minor segment, major segment. So this is a sector. Sector, anything looks like this, like a triangle. You get two radii and you have an arc in between. Okay. Now these are the answers to the questions from exercise 10.1. The center of the circle lies in the interior. You are aware of it. Now, a point whose distance from the center of the circle is greater than its radius lies in the exterior of the circle. Now there is a point, and that point, they are talking about that point's distance from the center. It is greater than the radius. If anything is greater than the radius means it is definitely outside the circle. And if it is less than the radius means it is inside the circle. And if it is equal to the radius means that point is on the circle. The longest chord of a circle is the diameter. If you look at this, as it goes towards the pole, the length decreases. So diameter is the longest chord of the circle. An arc is a semicircle when it ends at the ends of a diameter. It means what? Look at this arc, AXB. It ends at the diameter, that means AB is a diameter. And if AB is a diameter, this entire portion is called a semicircle, because this diameter will divide it into two semicircles. So it's just a twisted way of asking you a question. Then segment of a circle is the region between the chord and the arc of the circle. So answer here is chord. A circle divides the plane on which it lies into three parts: interior, exterior, on the circle, inside the circle, outside the circle, on the circle. So this was fill in the blanks from exercise 10.1. I've just given you all the answers. You can make a note of it or revise as and when I'm explaining. Write true or false, give reasons for your answers. You just have to mention here whether it is true or false. Okay. Line segment joining the center to any point on the circle is the radius of the circle. You're aware. So it's true. A circle has, answer is false, because it is infinite number of equal chords. A circle, if it is divided into three equal arcs, each is a major arc, it is false. A chord of a circle, which is twice as long as its radius, is diameter of the circle. That means it is a chord and it is twice the radius, so obviously it is the diameter of the circle. Sector is the region between the chord and its corresponding arc. False. Answer should be segment. Okay. And last, a circle is a plane figure. It is true. So students, what we have done here is I have taken you through exercise 10.1. What kind of questions you can expect from that exercise? Definitions of chord, secant, sector of a circle, segment of a circle, diameter, circumference of a circle. All these concepts you should know, because you could get MCQ type of questions based on that. Okay. You also have exercise 10.5. In the next video lesson, I will be doing questions based on 10.5. Okay, and certain concepts that you need to know when you are solving 10.5. Thank you.